When I hear them something, I have to laugh, because I say, "Oh, God bless, no man curse." Then we're there. Black people never get blessed because we never go in another man's country, go take out the people them out there and carry them go somewhere else, go enslave them. Never. There's no history of that. Where African people go, as a matter of fact, anywhere African people go and end up in our country, them enhance the living standard of the country. If you read about the Moors, you will understand what we're saying. When the Moors go into Granada in Spain, and they're there for 700 years, them carry a certain civilization there. We never did it before. Enhance it. When white people go in Africa, them go say the idea of mathematics that them carry them big scholars there, Pythagoras and all these people. And Uncle Theo, when Pythagoras go back to Greece, him invent A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Why? Why we have to keep repeating the same thing all the while? Forget it in our head, say, look here, the thing not going your way. As a matter of fact, you have become a living zombie and a mummy to your slave master. And not because you don't see no chain on your foot, but mental slavery. Him do have to put no chain on your foot again. You start to love it. Them call it the Stockholm syndrome. A man kidnap you, and because you're there with him so long, you start to like him. And I remember says kidnap you from your family. To meditate on, I know only for one just listen to it as a normal tune, but the lyrics is what is important in that song. The lyrics. You know, only for youth love it, but if you ask them what them a talk about, what Damien and Naz talk about, them don't have a clue. Them just love the beat and the jive. This is the Cutting Edge and IRFM. This is Black History Month. You know, we not left out that, When everybody attacks something else, we have to say Black History. And this Black History Month, we are going to feature some Black history. You understand? So, you have the whole month of Black history on this program. So, more time, you get out all your pen and piece of paper in a book. And certain things where you just write it down. That you can remember for go research it. Or just for meditate upon it. Because that is what this program is all about. Come back to this tune, as we say, Black History Month. And we have to really remind you of things. You must have to get something out of the program. Must. Yes. Make you go sit down and think. Or go investigate or research. That is what it is all about. Still there with you. We have an interview with Nicola White. She's from the Windrush organization. And say, occasionally they have some information to give you. Good night, Miss White.
Yes, hi, Musa. Good night.
All right. How you do?
I'm good, thank you. Hope you're good too.
Yes. Okay, so what you have to for it tonight, Tell me.
Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about an event that we have scheduled in the Spring Valley area of St. Mary, and it's going to be on February the 14th, for Saturday.
What is it? Give me some more information about it, man.
Okay, so we're going to have an event. It's an international forum. So there's going to be a number of speakers presenting information and giving guidance on how people can apply to the Windrush compensation scheme. So the things that we'll go through on the day, they'll start by establishing who is eligible to apply to the scheme, explain how the hostility from the UK Home Office could make someone's experience that's entitled to compensation from the scheme. We'll then define the categories of the scheme, which is primary, deceased, estate, and close family members. We then move on to discuss how those who live in the UK but have since left for several years can now apply to the scheme for a returning resident visa. We'll discuss the amount each claimant could be awarded from the scheme. And lastly, we will share experiences from across the world from those who have already applied or would like to apply.
All right. So tell me what, when they apply, what they have to do, what is the procedure that them go through?
So there'll be a couple of people at the event who can go, so after the event, they'll take their details and then they will go through the process with them. So there'll be a couple of people who have already gone through the process and are very well experienced, and they will guide them through the process. So it'd be best if people come and attend, and then they'll get the information as to how they can apply.
Oh, so is there a thing where you apply and you have to have a wait to find out if you accepted?
Yeah, so you'd submit information on like an application form, you send it off, and then the Home Office will get back to you. They may ask you some more information, or they may come back to you with an answer to say how much you could be awarded from the scheme.
What is the highest somebody ever get from that scheme? What money-wise, what is the highest?
To be honest, I don't have that information, but yeah. I mean, where people can obtain more information from is there is an Eventbrite page, and if they just put 3 words into Google, Windrush St. Mary, all of the information will come up, and the main person who is organizing the event, his details will be there, and if they contact that person, then any questions they may have before the event, he will be able to answer those questions.
I don't know if you can answer the next question then, because what I was going to ask is this, that if you have a family who left Jamaica years ago and them have assets in England and they pass away, how can you claim for that asset, and what you have to go through? You have to prove that you are the last in a relationship, or tell me how it go.
Well, if you have an asset, then if you have any documentation...
No, not you, not you. The family, there's a family member of you died in England.
Right. So what I mean is, if that, whoever has the asset, if they have any documentation, any paperwork that says that they have, maybe their name and address, anything, but any kind of paperwork that they have, they should take that to... whatever, the company is, or if it's a property, then similar to Jamaica where you have titles, we also have deeds and titles in the UK. We also have a national register. So you'd probably have to maybe go through an attorney, but take any documentation that you have to that attorney, and then they would help you to locate that asset.
No, but all right, here's the situation we're talking about. Your family left Jamaica long time, right? When you was a baby. And now you're a grown person. And the family member died. If you're not in contact with that family member continuously, or you don't even know the family member, but you know there's a relative of yours, how you going to receive something like that from England when you are in Jamaica, and you don't know, say, well, Sister Alice was your mother, and she died.
Right, okay.
So you're supposed to be in line for something if she never have no picnic, or if, how it go. Tell me how it go.
Okay, so those are the kind of situations that the persons who have already done the experience might be able to assist with, because that's going to take some work to try and find. What you'd have to do is put information out in like a newspaper. Anybody who knows this person, if there are, even though that person might have passed away, there might be other people, either friends or other family members who may have contacts with some other people in the UK. So even though, so as an example, when people went to the UK, they kind of formed communities. So a lot of the Jamaican community would stay in one place. So there might be people within that community that might know of the person that passed away, even if the family members in Jamaica don't have the contact details for them.
I know of a case where a sister, well, not a sister, a woman passed away, and she leave relatives here, but the relatives don't know her. But they were told that it is the mother's sister that is up there, that she passed away. Now, the mother's sister have children.
Yeah.
And she died. And now they have a thing where they're supposed to be looking for the oldest one to get what is left up there, like, you know, if a house or some money.
Right.
So what them lump sum. So what they do is that they trace the lineage and say, well, are you the oldest one? And if you're not the oldest one, they try to find the oldest person in the lineage, right? And what happens is that the lineage end up in Jamaica. The oldest one end up in Jamaica, and now they have to go through all of these things. I don't know if you look about these kind of details. You know, I don't know if you do that, or it's just the Windrush thing we deal with. But
yeah, I mean, I think those are kind of separate matters. But I mean, there may be people there that can give some information to help people in those situations. But generally, this event is about claiming for the Windrush compensation.
Yes, okay. All right, well, all right, remind the people then when it's it again and where. Okay,
so the event is going to be held on Saturday, the 14th of February. It's going to be held at the Spring Valley Community, which is the Tower Isle in St. Mary.
Okay.
And the time is from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m.
And what will be gathered there? What do I have there?
Say that again.
What are the different things going to happen there?
Okay, so we do have some other things on the day. We do have children activities. So while the adults are inside on the forum, then there'll be children's activities outside, games and activities for them to do. There'll also be in the evening, there will be live entertainment and music that will be happening as well. So it's actually a full day of event from 10 right up to midnight.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope the people them here and come out, because it's a whole heap of Jamaicans here have family in England, and them lost and don't know if to find them. And this is an opportunity to find your lost relatives in England. You know, and maybe get some money or a big house. So you never can tell. All right. Give thanks, Mama. Give thanks.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right, good night.
Good night. Yeah, that was Nicola White from the Windrush organization. They are trying their best to make people be aware that there's something for you in England that you may not know about. There's something there that you don't know about because of your family is part of that Windrush, what them call it, the Windrush generation, that get caught up in England. You might just be a recipient of a house where you never have in a Jamaica. Yes, maybe the house there too. You know, see it. So, yeah, it's very important that you really listen to these kind of information and follow through if you know he is one of them who is in that bracket to achieve.
There was once a group of enslaved Africans in America who refused to live in chains and walked straight into the ocean instead. It happened in 1803 on the coast of Georgia. Over 70 Igbo people were kidnapped from Nigeria and sold into slavery. But their captors made one fatal mistake. They thought the Igbo were weak. The moment the boats touched the shore, the captives rose up, broke their chains, and overpowered the slave traders. Some say they drowned them. Others say they threw them into the sea. Then, in one of the most powerful acts of resistance ever recorded, the Igbo marched together into the water, chanting in their language, "The water brought us here. The water will take us home." Step by step, they walked into the waves, not as slaves, but as free people. Their courage turned tragedy into legend. Today, that place is called Igbo Landing, and locals still say that on quiet nights, you can hear their voices carried by the wind and the tide. They didn't die in defeat. They rose and went home through the water.
One more time. 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 One more time.
Did you know there was once a group of enslaved Africans in America who refused to live in chains and walked straight into the ocean instead? It happened in 1803 on the coast of Georgia. Over 70 Igbo people were kidnapped from Nigeria and sold into slavery. But their captors made one fatal mistake. They thought the Igbo were weak. The moment the boats touched the shore, the captives rose up, broke their chains, and overpowered the slave traders. Some say they drowned them. Others say they threw them into the sea. Then, in one of the most powerful acts of resistance ever recorded, the Igbo marched together into the water, chanting in their language, "The water brought us here. The water will take us home." Step by step, they walked into the waves, not as slaves, but as free people. Their courage turned tragedy into legend. Today, that place is called Igbo Landing, and locals still say that on quiet nights, you can hear their voices carried by the wind and the tide. They didn't die in defeat. They rose and went home through the water.
All where your ancestors go through, and you come here so now, and still carry yourself back into slavery, and feel say you're free. You're free, yes, you're freedom. That you do your freedom. Look how much people come show you say the thing now work out for you. Because look on your grandmother and your grandmother before her. Look on your situation where you live in now. Look how much prayers you give out. Look how much time you say, God bless me. My people they talk and I talk about who God bless, no man curse. When I hear them something, I have to laugh, because I say, who God bless, no man curse. Then we are there. Black people never get blessed. Because we never go in another man's country, go take out the people them out there and carry them go somewhere else. Go enslave them. Never. There's no history of that. Where African people go, as a matter of fact, anywhere African people go and end up in our country, them enhance the living standard of the country. If you read about the Moors, you will understand what we're saying. When the Moors go into Granada in Spain, and they're there for 700 years, them carry a certain civilization there. We never did it before. Enhance it. When white people go in Africa, them go say the idea of mathematics that them carry them big scholars there, Pythagoras and all these people. And Uncle Theo, you know, when Pythagoras go back to Greece, him invent A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Why? Why we have to keep repeating the same thing all the while? Forget it in our head, say, look here, the thing not going your way. As a matter of fact, you have become a living zombie and a mummy to your slave master. And not because you don't see no chain by your foot, but mental slavery. Him don't have to put no chain by your foot again. You start to love it. Them call it the Stockholm syndrome. A man kidnap you, and because you're there with him so long, you start to like him. And I remember says kidnap you from your family. Kidnap you from your family. For hundreds of years. And when you look at the condition where you live in now, the majority of you live in a condition that is not suitable for the development and advancement of a people. Because they are up there corrupted all of these people. And you can see it now in America. When you look in America and see the corruption where these people hang upon them head, the politician them and the elite them, the rich people them have some devious and deviant behavior that them project it upon them tell life vision, them project it in them books, them project it in them way of life, and we adapt it and start to become like them, and we don't know nothing else. And when you hear certain people come with certain arguments, you say, I hear that talk, them think they are foolishness. That will help me. As some people talk, them don't want to know about inventions that black people have a whole heap of things to do with things where we use daily. Things where you use the computer. I hear them talk about electronics and this and that. Black people is the main source of the genesis of this modern day advancement. Yes. Run up and down naked is not a sign of backwardness, you know. As a matter of fact, it can be a sign of purity of heart, because rape for them something there. We don't know about them something there until certain people start to creep into a system and a society. You know, you go to Africa, young girls were not married, them not have no top. When them get married, them put on top. We there, so now, you don't have to see the top. If you start going like you're idiot, we'll come forward. We'll celebrate Black History Month, you know, we all do it the whole month. Yes. That you can, as I say, get your pen and your paper, that you can write down certain things and go really check it out, investigate it, because doubt is not a bad thing. We say it all the while, you know. I want doubt, it don't mean say it bad, you know. What it allow you to do is to go explore what you doubt about. Yes. And in that way you get information that you will never get presented with if you just leave it alone and then years after you realize, but well, come in that think about that. And I know so it go. And that is really what happened to black people. You know, for nearly years, thousands of years now. Them have we figure out and try accept what is said in our book. And we'll understand how to investigate these things. Because most of it was not read by us. It was read to us. It was not read by us at all. We regurgitate things that we don't understand. We regurgitate things that we believe and don't know. So even when we say belief is doubt. Belief is doubt, man. That is why you must explore. You must explore the understanding of people and see if it collaborate with facts. Facts. And don't be afraid to doubt. Yeah, man. That's the first sign of trying to understand. I hear them say knowledge is power. Yeah, knowledge is power, but it need more than that. It need understanding. Understanding of self and understanding of what is your purpose here. That is where we understand. We must understand. No pipe dream, pie in the sky. That's what I want you to do. Meanwhile, them there on earth have grand time and fullness. You there hope say somewhere is better than where you is now. On earth. Then if them say the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, then why is not we part of that fullness? Joy is supposed to be our design. Joy is supposed to be our attitude towards life. And most of us don't have that joy because we don't have the things them that can make life more meaningful. You know, all we can do is lust after these things. You know, we sick and we can't afford to go to hospital. While another man just take a plane and fly out. The whole of we should have been able to take a plane and fly out. Because better doctor they are foreign. Better doctor they are Cuba too. Them have a mix up. And we start to believe so where them tell we is what them know. And it's them make up the story too. Only part of the story we believe in is them make it up. For hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, it come out of them way of life. We had our own way of life, our own cultural expression. That's why Rastafari is so important to the whole scheme of the thing. That even though it might look away, but at least we was able to carve a cultural expression that define it. We carve that cultural expression to define what is it that we're dealing with. And even though it is not coincided with men and people thinking and understanding of what things are supposed to be, we know that what them want you to do is what white people come with and make you feel say this is the only way to go. And we take up them little dirty attitude. We take up them little attitude. We believe them little stupidity. And don't know, say, we were thinkers, as you hear this song where the brother I say, we were thinking long before them start to tell us we are uncivilized and Tarzan come civilized way. We was in Africa quite okay, doing what we do best, and that is functioning with the natural law of nature. And when we can do things, we invent things, simple things, like fire. Yes, that was an invention. So much things that we need to learn and know. Because the more you know, is the more you'll be able to bob and weave out of their madness and don't make them catch you with it. Because that is what it is all about. Trapping the rat and make you become cruel and wicked. And that is how we see go on in the society. The school system is not designed to make you be more knowledgeable of your surroundings, who you are and where you're from. It is there to make you become part of that system, that service the system. Service the system so that you stay where it is, and all you can do is service the system. Some of us was able to bob and weave out of it and become something other than. But the majority of us still exists in this time zone that is long gone, long past. But every day we get up and bring it back into the bubble and trying to live it in the bubble. This is no time for a bubble. We need to take something and joke the bubble, make it burst, and come to an understanding and a knowledge of self. And when I talk about self, where you just get up and I say, you are this and you are that. Like, there's some man I say, boy, them is king, and, you know, the woman I say, them is queen, and you have man I say, them is high priest, and all sort of things with them add upon them name. But the reality is that them a mimic where them come say in a different way. Yes. Them a mimic it. So when you're a man come and I say, boy, him is this, and him is that. All them a do is try to become part of where we should have left behind a long time. Cultural expression define a people. Cultural expression define a people. And if your culture that you design for your way of life buck up in our next culture, and you realize that culture, because it have money, power, and influence, your culture start to get sucked in, and then you start to become a part of that you despise first time, and now you love now because you see it all over you, around you. When you are asleep, it's there with you. And you don't recognize it's not so it's supposed to go. It's not so it's supposed to go. You're supposed to create your own. Your own. Don't make no one manipulate your thoughts and then talk about this cultural expression. You have certain things that come from Africa where we don't have to accept everything from Africa, you know. No, we don't have to accept it. We know that. But we understand it. We have to understand it. And most of the things them we don't understand from Africa, we see it as some little evil thing, devil thing, and all these things. Because them put it in our head that we are there. Them put it in our head. When we used to use it for help us other people, when we never have to go to the hospital, go sit down the whole day for years, so you have a headache if you go take one tablet. We did live, and I live, and I live. Certain disease never engulf with body. No, when you hurt, we run to an hospital. Your teeth hurt, you run to an hospital. Your head hurt, you run to an hospital. And the guy just give you something and tell you, so let's go home back. And just take 1, 2 times a day, 3 times a day. And it will work out. And you feel good because your belly stop hurting too, but it's a symptoms, it's not, and the symptoms get relieved at the time. But you have to know, say, the symptoms don't solve the problem, because the symptoms is the problem. And we add, and I say add, we add ways and means to help us through hard times and rough times. And we survive. We're the first people to come on the earth. First. And with all of the trials and tribulation With all of them throw at we still there. We're not supposed to be there now, you know. We wasn't supposed to be there, man. That thing with them called slave trade alone supposed to wipe you out long time. But we're still there. And as long as human being on the earth, we are there. So don't let nobody tell you no foolishness. You have to be proud of who you are and who your foreparents were and where you come from in the schemes of things. You have to organize your mind, your mentality around that. And you realize you don't start to live life yet. Yet still your life seems to be going down. You don't start to live it yet and your life seems to be going down. Especially them young people. Where every day them up on the road not doing nothing at all. More than run out them hard niggle. And I draw people in a bus and I have them something there. After them have a little ground at them yard, them don't have nothing like that. Some of them is like vultures. Them attack you. And if you don't yield to where them ask you, them call you a certain name and this and that. A terrible thing. We stand up in a this craziness and we reach this far with it. We reach this far and we are say, how much of you who are listening to me right now? How much of you are going to live this far? Yeah. How much? Because we have to go, trust me, if disease no catch you, police will catch you, criminal will catch you, or something out there. It's like it a wait for pounds by you. Yes, so you better wake up. And when you don't hear that voice no more, you're going to still hear it in your head. I say, what? You know, say that brother that talk some things. You ever know, say, so it go. Can it catch me too? When I just start go Rasta and hear Rasta talk, some man may say, where them get them reason from? Ratted. And years after I go out amongst them, I realize, but that them did I say? Yeah, that. So we want to know where African pride there. That's what I talk about, where African pride.
It should change, for crying out loud. I don't understand why it's called Victoria Falls. I mean, who's Victoria? Who is Victoria? I don't go to London and something is named Kanyisile Drive. Really, names should change. And even personal names should change, people. We should get there. I don't understand why we still give birth to Patricks in 2025. No, not in 2025. In the era when you were born, maybe. Because we need to understand how these names came about. You had a Christian name and you had a heathen name. So when your mom took you to a clinic that was run by missionaries and they say this child's name is Karma, they say, no, I can't pronounce that, we're breaking my tongue. Besides, that's a heathen name. This child's name is Christina. So people died fighting for a name change. And for me, that should come under statutory, and that includes towns.
One more time. 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 One more time.
Loud. I don't understand why it's called Victoria Falls. I mean, who's Victoria? Who is Victoria? I don't go to London and something is named Kanyisile Drive. Really, names should change. And even personal names should change, people. We should get there. I don't understand why we still give birth to Patricks in 2025. No, not in 2025. In the era when you were born, maybe. Because we need to understand how these names came about. You had a Christian name and you had a heathen name. So when your mom took you to a clinic that was run by missionaries, and they say this child's name is Karma, they say, no, I can't pronounce that, you're breaking my tongue. Besides, that's a heathen name. This child's name is Christina. So people died fighting for a name change. And for me, that should come under statutory, and that includes towns.
Maybe I say God is a E. Even though them say God is a spirit, them say God is a E. I don't know if when people say E, it might conjure up a man in our head. So we ask the question now, how that go? Because them come and tell you, say, a woman bear a child without a father input. Without a father input, the woman bear a child. But then them come tell you, say, the E no have no mother, no father, no beginning, no end of days. And everybody say E this and E that and E that. Confusion in a room. Confusion. You don't know what is it. Well, I know what them saying still, but it don't make no sense. Because you don't examine it. You just keep saying it. And a whole heap of things where you just keep saying, regurgitate, where you learn. When knowledge increase, you have to increase your knowledge too. You can't just sit down in the past. And I say, well, them did I say, and I say, give the old time religion. Because if it was good for Daniel and this and that, it's good enough for you. It's not good enough for me. Old time religion not good enough for me at all. My capability to understand and to reason out things is much wider and wider in them time. Yeah. So the man no come tell me about, say, boy, right now, you know, old time religion. Because that put you in this problem, yeah. That put you in the problem. So it's a mother of civilization. Most indigenous people talk about nature as her, our mother. Yes. And now them come put a certain thing in our head and make we don't know what we're saying or what we're doing. Because we want a pie in the sky. When we die, we will go to heaven. And nobody can identify heaven. I'll tell you which part this place there. That you can say, well, you know, mango and coconut and all of them now there. I guess when you don't have nobody, you don't need them something there. Ay. Take a break.
Jamaican with sound the sweetest. Look at
Jamaican
that.
Language.
What for?
Our thing that, you know.
Where?
But as usual, them say anything. We're create. No good.
I see.
So them bad-mouthed. They uneducated people talk that way there. Yes, good night.
Yes, good night, Muta.
Good night, sir.
Mikey, this, you know, boy, I like how you start off the show, Black History Month, and, you know, say me is a big Black History Month advocate. I won't even pretend about that.
All the while.
We defend that, huh?
Yeah, man, you're not
defend it to the max, and in fact, it will be no surprise to you. I'm programming 2 free entrance Black History Month events come next week, Monday and Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
Monday, I can tell you right there, UE, multifunctional room, 6 to 9, Monday, 9th of February. Free event. Black History is celebrating 100 years of Black History Month since Carter T. Woodson initiated.
What is the event? What are you going to do? You've got an event.
We're going to have a panel discussions from Professor Clinton Hutton. We're going to have Professor Rupert Lewis, Professor Vereen Shepherd. We're going to have Stephen Golden is part of it as well, Sister Yah Santua, talking about the importance of Black history for the upliftment of black people wherever they are. You know, the contributions that we have made to world civilization.
We have some of them are right now on the program.
Yes. But this is important. I mean, while, you know, reggae music and black history are in tandem, but we can't leave out the black history. We can't have too much black history. And I know you agree with that, Muta. No, sir?
I mean, if I agree with it. You know, this is what I said about no reggae month up to now. From the start. You know, this is what we don't mention reggae month up to now.
Yes, I notice, and we give thanks. I salute you on that one, because the reggae month is out there already. But what about the black history? And what about the fact that Carter G. Woodson, 100 years ago, in February 1926, initiated, we call it Negro History Week, and then it became Negro History Month. Because them time they call black people, they use the term Negro, like Marcus Garvey. But the bottom line is that, you know, this has evolved into Black History Month, and we still need to respect the fact that it was there for a reason, because he realized 100 years ago that, you know, black history is something we need to know about what our ancestors had achieved, you know, the great civilizations, not just in Kemet, but, you know, also, you know, in Kush, you know, also the Great Wall of Zimbabwe, Timbuktu University existed before any of the European universities did, the one in Mali. You know, people need to know what we achieved, the brilliance of African people, that we're not just all about sports and music. We're also great intellectual minds, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So you have to celebrate that, no, sir?
Of course. Okay.
Yeah,
so
man. So
remind the people them again.
So Monday, 6 to 9 p.m., this coming Monday, the 9th of February, UE, University of the West Indies, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., multifunctional room. It's near the main library. We have Professor Rupert Lewis who will be talking. We have Professor Vereen Shepherd. We have Professor Clinton Hutton. You know, I am moderating. We also Sister Yah Santua and Stephen Golin. That's Monday. And then come now Thursday, we give them some more information. Same place, 6 to 9, but this is Thursday, the 12th of February. You have Jabalani Tafari. He will be talking about black history. We have Sister Imani Tafara talking about black history. We also will have Jelani Naya will be speaking to the issue of black history.
So hold on there.
Yeah.
All right, we know the matter about black history. There's no pinpointing of what them going to talk about, the head in the topic. I mean,
you mean which angle or which perspective?
Yeah, what them are going to talk about when them say black history. If you're going to talk about, you know, whatsoever.
There's going to be different perspectives. So Vereen Shepherd will talk about the contribution of black women have made to civilization. She'll focus on black women. Okay. So will Dr. Imani Tafari when she speaks on the Thursday. So they will be coming different angles. Prof. Rupert Lewis will talk about how Marcus Garvey reinforced the brilliance of black people, how he pointed out what we had achieved in the past and what efforts he went to remind black people about their greatness. So different speakers will come from different angles. So, you know, so it's not one person just speaking for a whole long time. And then we open up for question and answer.
I just want to know what each of them, what topic each of them will talk on. We know it's black history still, but you know, but that's a topic.
Yes. Well, this is one of the few times I don't have my sheet of paper with me with the actual title of each one. But I know the slant. But I'm just giving you a general overview. But if people are interested, it's free. It's open to any and anyone.
Yeah.
Happening Monday, 9th of February, 6 to 9, multifunctional room, UA Mona campus. And also the second installment will be Thursday, 12th of February, 6 to 9, same place, different persons. Dr. Arthur Taylor will also be speaking. On his take on black history. So I don't have the titles with me, Muta, but just give the people a prips, yeah?
All right, give thanks. Yes, Ill.
Ill Mutabaruka.
Blessed man.
Yeah. Long time I try to get through, but I get through, so I gotta make use of the time.
Yeah, man.
So I see, you see the Prime Minister of Jamaica have the police them a kill off the youth them, and him better know say him have to watch himself, because if him slip and slide and them people are going to take him out like how them take out Madura, that is a reason why them will go take him out too, yeah? Because them people don't have no permanent friend, they have permanent interest right now. I mean that them good book, so him for know, because the police them a kill off the youth them.
So you think say America go business if him kill off the youth, if the police them kill off the youth them?
No, and that them not care about that, but if later on them want to get him for whatever reason, then we, you know what I mean? Then we say, just like how the, you know, so them all the Philippine Virginia are the year now, Duterte, send it up death squad. Because a death squad, them have a killer of the youth, them at Jamaica. You know what I mean? So them think that we against and big up this Black History Month, yeah, I know say we're upon that full-heartedly.
Fully. Yeah,
man. Because we see a peer craziness going on all over the world. I wonder Maduro on the esteem list and the Iranian president on the esteem list. Because you know, say if something like that go on somewhere else in the world, then we don't want to invade that country there. You know?
Well, in Nigeria, them have soldiers upon the ground in Nigeria, you know. Yeah, remember, him dropped 2 bombs down there the other day, you know. Yeah, but the government of Nigeria complicit in that too, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, because them now want fix them own business. You know, them just calling them big brother for, you know, for do what they want to do. But it's a bigger player, them a player. That, you know, because they want, yeah, you know, them want to go get that, the Burkina Faso leader. But all we have to keep in our thoughts and I know, cause we have to protect our brother there like how, you know. We have to protect our brother there with all our energy. You know? But me I say, Muta, man, the police, them at Jamaica and the government that talk about crime gone down and them a kill off the youth there. Them a kill off the man them and the youth them. You can't just kill off. Them not count the one them with the police them kill unnecessarily.
Yeah, you can't do that, you know, and them a kill off the youth, them and them they even know say is a I don't know if you look for talk about it, because the youth them we are kill out the future. You know what I mean? And every youth where you kill, you have to kill. You know what I mean? You can't and every youth where them kill them and talk about shoot out. Where the body camera them? You understand?
We know that.
You know, but some ignorant people I say the crime cut down and them pleased with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, themselves go and kill out the youth them called crime cut down. Yeah, and that is not the fact. Can you give a next set of youth the power to kill off a next set of youth? Yeah. You know what I mean? So what we are gonna do now? So we have a tier system now. We're gonna kill off all of the number 10 them. When the 10 them done, we go for the 9 them, then the 8. You know what I mean? So we kill off everybody. The whole of the youth them. Where them youth them killer youth they know. What them are gonna do now? What you gonna do with them then? Them are gonna want to kill same way. You know? I like me talk on the radio, me hear Trinity in a radio, you interview Trinity, you know, and Trinity said,
when you kill a innocent person and somebody see, what you going to do to that person will see you? Because you're going to try, no matter what, you're going to try to protect yourself. What you going to do to that person will see, whenever you see. Because you know so that person, I going to rat you out. What you going to do? You know, it don't make no sense, man. And there's other ways where we can deal with this crime business, yeah. You know what I mean? You have to make the people know so them have an interest in them have a stake in the future of the country. And them nothing mash you up. You have to find a way to get that across to the people them, to the youth them. You know, you can't so-called educated people agree with that style of policing there. I can't agree with it.
Yeah, man, what you mean if them agree with it, man?
I can't agree with it.
So you mean damn worthless that why them do sit on a corner and smoke this and smoke that. Kill them. That's what
yeah,
reason,
so one when them go kill all a policeman picnic, which happened before, which happened all the while. The policeman picnic a friend with youth and them go kill the youth them and the whole of them dead. On the field. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What you say? If one innocent youth dead is too much. You understand? And you can't have youth a grown and kill off youth, so man. But Mota, big up yourself, big up Cabo, big up Mandingo and the whole East Kingston, you know, Larky Sprat, Fireball, Star, big up on yourself, you know, love and unity.
Thanks, man. Irie, bless you.
Yeah, man, cool.
Okay, here we go.
Nubia's forgotten monarchy, older than Egypt's kings. Before Egypt's pharaohs donned their crowns, Nubia's sands cradled the world's earliest known monarchy around 3000 BC. In northern Sudan, artifact from the Custal Cemetery, incense burners etched with royal symbols like falcons and crowns, reveal kings ruling a sophisticated society predating Egypt's first dynasty by centuries. These Nubian rulers, from the A-group culture, commanded trade empires along the Nile, buried with ivory scepters and gold, influencing what would become pharaonic traditions. Later, their descendants in Kush would conquer Egypt itself. But these forgotten pioneers laid the foundation for African kingship. Unearthed in the 1970s, this evidence rewrites history, showing Nubia as the true cradle of monarchy. Not a shadow of Egypt, but its elder. Power flowed from the south. Follow for more hidden histories.
Yes. Listen, you know. When I have to play them something, I listen. Because I see you saying, oh, I'll play this one, yeah. Yeah, I could play this one, yeah. Oh. There we go.
My name is Tau Haramanuba, Grandmaster Tau Haramanuba, the great Lumukanda, the earth's last immortal. This is Unpopular Opinion, and welcome. Today we are with God, a man we call God, Zamalek Giza.
Greetings to everybody in Dosheni. Zamalek Giza, Ngimeniwela, Unpopular Opinion. I'm invited by Tau and the rest of the team. I'm here to engage about Rastafari and other activities such as cosmetical creation of Africans and the Bantu knowledge. I'm the immortal as live forever. Yes, I never got outcast. I just have my own powers and my own thrones galactically I need to go back to.
Welcome, God, for that invitation. We call him God, you know. This man we met about 25 years ago.
Yes.
I say of all my students to hear them around, he's my oldest, among others. And then he came with a very interesting story. He wanted to deal with some deeper mysteries of Africa, like the concept of Mutau. But he will explain further about it, because that is his journey. And then from there, before it becomes so fashionable for people to say, I am God having a human experience. This was the man who was going around and say, I'm God. And then when he's sleeping while we're chanting, they'll be like, God, when you're sleeping, now who's guarding creation, no? Mudimu Roberts,
Because, it's because it has much to deal with our Rastafari perspective in that time. In the community of Rastas, they had to perceive Haile Selassie and deify him. And deifying him using monotheist ideology. And the monotheist ideology perceived that God is one whole that controls the whole entire thing. So it will create ideas where God, when it's in a human flesh, it will never be understood. Because the nature of African does have that identity. Just the name God, it's a foreign aspect of viewing things. It is Europeanized. That is why in the polytheist and the Dewism, it will never make sense in the monotheist center. Meaning someone who engage with a monastic idea of God, they'll have a problem with a polytheist. Because the polytheist has a different creational stories that are made by these different gods. While the monotheist has one God, and this one God is the one creator that creates everything, governing everything, saying omnipotent, omnipresent. Exactly like Obitek will say, it's a transition or intellectual smuggle of ideas that are European, meaning they intellectually smuggle Hellenic ideas to Africa. So within the Rastas, it has already created that perspective. Their theology is grounded in such ideas rather than African ideas. But the logos, the mentors, the back to Africa. That is why such things as baptism that was practiced within the Melchizedek Church were same as African practice that were long-term practice, going to the river and cleansing, having Ugwambuwa, Gumbuwela, even in Zambia, the Lozis, the Bakwezwa, the Gamba. They have a ceremonial system for in the river going to Nyame Nyame. And then that ceremonial system, they get baptized in some other form and they will have traditional practices. All that are named Kwambua. Yeah, which means Kwapuela. Something has been opened. And the king will have a parade with a big elephant. As far as he said, we came with a big elephant here in these lands. And this elephant is called Nkandai. Or Okondwai.
Or Kandai.
Or Kandaya. You can get it being worshipped even in India, since we are the best influence that the elephant itself became a worship, a system. Kandai had his parents. His parents are known as Ngundwa Nogatu. The ones who get unalive and extinct. But that in the Rastafari itself, it has never become a conversation majority of the time. Rather than the conversation, it becomes Ethiopia and the Solomonic dynasty with the idea of Abrahamic history.
Yeah, well, taking it from the top, maybe, since you mentioned the Rastafari movement. The Rastafari movement is largely Judeo-Christian, in a sense that it placed the Bible in the center of the movement and used the Bible as the final judge of all things African, because they're African people. Whatever they do, the energy to gravitate towards the drum and chant the drums, whether Kumina, whether Nyabingi, it stems from their Africanness. So then with that idea, they biblicize Africa. They talk about the Christian past of Africa. They talk about the silent presence of Jesus in Africa. That is why when they go into Egyptology, they start to tell you that Osiris is Jesus or Horus is Jesus. So they are searching for the Christian God in Africa instead of the African God in Africa. Now, this is the part that you mention that they're dressing up African deities with Hellenic clothes. Now, those are the thieves of gods, of our gods. Those are intellectual smugglers. Now, these intellectual smugglers who are thieves of our God, one of them is John Mbiti, famous for writing African religions and philosophy. These are the people who coined a concept called ATR, African Traditional Religion. So these are Christians who are despondent, with segregation in the church. These people came up in the South African context in 1888. You have Nehemiah Dile, who established the Tembu Church of South Africa. 1892.
They created a lot of
those
function of churches. Like the
but they still imitate. That is where it is going. But they still imitate the English church, because with the Tembu Church, for example, Nehemiah Dile, one of the early African to be converted to Christianity and to be educated like Diosoga. So Nehemiah Dile wanted to contribute, he contributed a bull for the circumcision ritual of King Dalinyebo. Now the church criticized him that you are a Christian who's still participating in pagan rituals. So he decided to break away and establish the Tembu Church. And he said, as the King of England is the head of the Church of England, Anglican, the head of Anglican is the King of England, is the English church. So he said, as the King of England is the head of the English church, even the King of the Tembu is the head of the Tembu Church. You see, they are imitating the Western church system that did not exist in Africa. Then 1892, you have Mangena Makemukoni here in Pretoria. They established the Ethiopian Church of South Africa. You have a whole lot of them around Soweto. They are very small churches. They are written Ethiopian Church of South Africa, 1892. And then from there, 1910, you have ZCC. 1921, you have Inokum Gijima and the Black Jews or the Hebrew Israelites of Bulhoek Massacre. No, in East London.
Yes, in East London.
East London. And then 1930, then you have the Rastafari movement. So all of these, they belong to a movement called Ethiopianist movement. So there was the Ethiopianist movement before the Pan-Africanist movement. The Ethiopianist movement, the center of the nucleus of it was a religion, Judeo-Christianity, because they quoting from Bible reference. The Garden of Eden was in Ethiopia, Genesis 2 verse 8. All of these scriptures that make reference to Ethiopia. So that inspired the Ethiopian movement from the Tembu Church, which was ethnically based, tribal, to the Ethiopian movement of 1892, which now gave birth to these churches, ZCC, Chembe, which are Africanized Christianity, where they've Africanized Christianity. And they introduce other concept of Sangomas who hide in the church. They call themselves Istunywa today. They talk about Istunywa Sasond. So from the 1930, the culmination of that is the Rastafari movement. But before that, within the context of Jamaica, there were two movement and two books. One movement was inspired by Athley Rogers, who wrote a book called The Holy Pipi, the Black Man's Bible. And then the other movement was by Ballantyne, which came up with a book called The Parchment Scroll of Black Supremacy. So the third movement, 1930, when His Majesty Rastafari was crowned in Ethiopia. So they combined the two books, Parchment Scroll of Black Supremacy and the Holy Pipi, which they call the Black Man's Bible, which the bigger version of it actually is in Kimberley. And then the smaller version was in one of those islands of the Caribbean. So then they came up with the Promised Key. Now, the Promised Key originally was supposed to be a book to replace the Bible, because this philosophy of the time was like, put not a book that have a curse of the black man in the altar. So they talk about the curse of Ham, the curse of Ham in the Bible, which the white men used and said, we Africans were Hamitic people. We are dark because God cursed us, because our great ancestor Ham, look at his father nakedness when he was drunk. So this then inspired the Hamitic movement, then the Rastafari movement. Now, this is started now by people who were taken from Africa as slaves, taken from Africa and made slave. Now, slaves were not allowed to read any other book except the Bible. At one time, slaves were not even allowed to play drums. So when they come up to Rastafari and the coronation of His Majesty, they can only interpret it with the only one source that is available to them, which is the Bible. And then you had the four school of thought, one led by Leonard Howell, the other one led by Archibald Dunkley, the other one led by Joseph Nathaniel Hibbert, and then the other one by Robert Hines. So from the beginning, you have multiple school of thoughts. The other one was very Ethiopic. Can I be controversial here? Because you have already talked about
the transition of Christianity or African theology, and then how it has already influenced and have center thinking, or what we say the epitome of what we call Ethiopianism. Ethiopianism being the political structure that
religious
made
structure.
the transition. Even we can say polio-religious, meaning it had politics and religion, because it could influence what we call black liberation, black movement.
Like with the ANC
and all
1912,
yes.
the people who formed that, some of them were
So my
subscribing to that
controversy comes in this, that is it not Leonard Howell who learned with some of who you call Hubbard, L.D. Hubbard, the founder of the Scientology. He learned with him in a ship where they worked together. And in such case, he created the Scientology. And he came with the idea of Rastafarism embodied with Indian practices, Eastern philosophy. Because in that same ship, they used to work in the Eastern or Minor Asia. So all of that create what we call non-black liberational movement or cultural reformation or recognition of African knowledge. Because it creates now what we call Masonic Brotherhood, because we can see the same behavior from Hibbert, who participated in what we call Masonic Lodge of Ethiopia and opened, the Charter 107 in Jamaica, in his parish. So all of that, it doesn't correlate, as you say. It has already created a space of using only religious ideas and Ethiopia as a center and the appeal role model of what is Africa.
It still comes down to what you said, that the dressing up the African deity divinities with Hellenic clothes. As I was saying, that John Mbiti, he actually collected about 300 names of African divinities. And all of them call them with one name and say they are God. Say Ramaset is God, Mudimu is God. But it can't be.
Questionable.
No, it can't be. In the principle of translation.
Pardon me here to interject you. It is questionable that John Mbiti will never be learned in traditional system, and he's learned only in Christian theology and understanding.
He was a theologian.
Proper scholar. With his translation of what we call Kahamba language in Kenya, that he used to translate biblical ascension. The same translation that was made, I think it's 1969. And then when he made that same translation, that translation had no correlation to African traditional practice. He was trying to correlate what we call Christianity to Africans. His reason is to say Christianity, it cannot be the only religion. Africans, they do have a center of what is godly or divinity. Now, it strips Africans from what they are, because the Gamba people have a different now, who are speaking the Gamba language.
Yes, that's my two brethren, them from South Africa. A dissect and a reset philosophy and opinions, incorporating their cultural expression and Rastafari cultural expression, what them going to know about eventually. Very interesting conversation. Next week we might get our next piece of it. Next week we get our next piece of it, but it's something for you the two brethren them a dissect and a evaluate and see how it's necessary and important for really understand the thing before you jump into the fire or in the frying pan. It's easy to sit down and reason with a brethren and a sister. When we are come up, a pair sisters me used to sit down with and reason with. To me, not a man with smoke herbs and thing. A whole heap of sisters will sit down, lay all them over the night. We are sit down and a reason. Dissect and all the things that you can do to make sure you got through as a Rastafari, brethren and sister. Yeah, man. Man, serious thing, yes.
This actually happened. In 24 BCE, Queen Kandake of Kush did something no ruler had ever dared. She declared war on Rome. Augustus Caesar controlled the known world, but Kandake didn't care. She marched 30,000 warriors north toward Roman territory. The legions had never faced anything like her army. At Syene, Roman forces crumbled under brutal assault. Soldiers who had conquered Gaul and Britain fled in terror. Caesar's generals begged for reinforcements, but none came. Then Kandake did something even more shocking. She negotiated with Augustus as an equal. Not as a conquered queen, but as a peer. Augustus agreed to her terms and removed all Roman taxes from Kushite territory forever. Rome paid tribute to an African queen they couldn't defeat.
One more time. 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 One more time.
This actually happened. In 24 BCE, Queen Kandake of Kush did something no ruler had ever dared. She declared war on Rome. Augustus Caesar controlled the known world, but Kandake didn't care. She marched 30,000 warriors north toward Roman territory. The legions had never faced anything like her army. At Syene, Roman forces crumbled under brutal assault. Soldiers who had conquered Gaul and Britain fled in terror. Caesar's generals begged for reinforcements, but none came. Then Kandake did something even more shocking. She negotiated with Augustus as an equal. Not as a conquered queen, but as a peer. Augustus agreed to her terms and removed all Roman taxes from Kushite territory forever. Rome paid tribute to an African queen they couldn't defeat.
Ethiopia isn't just a country, it's a civilizational marvel. From ancient inventions to mysterious landscapes, Ethiopia has earned its title as the Land of Wonders. Here are 10 mind-blowing facts that prove why this East African gem is unlike anywhere else on Earth. 10. Home of humanity. The oldest human ancestor, Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis, was discovered in Ethiopia. This means Ethiopia is not just African, it's the birthplace of humanity itself. 9. Never colonized. Ethiopia is the only African country never formally colonized. It defeated the mighty Italian Empire at the Battle of AWA in 1896, standing as a symbol of African resistance and pride. 8. Ancient Christianity. Ethiopia adopted Christianity in the 4th century before most of Europe. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church has preserved ancient customs, texts, and even the language of Ge'ez for centuries. 7. Rock-hewn churches. The 11 churches of Lalibela are literally carved out of solid rock, some dug straight into the ground. These medieval wonders remain sacred sites and architectural mysteries to this day. 6. Unique alphabet. Ethiopia has its own script called Fidel or Ge'ez. It's one of the few African nations with a native writing system still in active use. A true linguistic treasure. Before I continue, like this video to support Africarized. 5. Calendar and time. Ethiopia follows a 13-month calendar and is 7 to 8 years behind the Gregorian calendar. It also tracks time differently, starting the clock at sunrise, not midnight. Mind-bending, right? 4. Birthplace of coffee, your morning pick-me-up. It comes from Ethiopia, the birthplace of coffee. The legend of Kaldi and his dancing goats is just the start of Ethiopia's deep coffee culture. 3. The Ark of the Covenant. Some Ethiopians believe the Ark of the Covenant is hidden in a chapel in Aksum. While it remains unverified, the legend adds to Ethiopia's aura of mystery and holiness. 2. Mountains and landscapes. From the Simeon Mountains to the Danakil Depression, Ethiopia boasts otherworldly terrains, including one of the hottest, lowest, and most acidic places on Earth. 1. Ancient Empire. Ethiopia was once the mighty Aksumite Empire, trading with Rome and Persia. It even minted its own coins and was one of the great powers of the ancient world. Which of these facts amazed you the most? Let us know in the comments. For early access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes clips and perks, join our channel membership today. It's a civilizational marvel. From ancient inventions to mysterious landscapes, Ethiopia has earned its title as the Land of Wonders. Here are 10 mind-blowing facts that prove why this East African gem is unlike anywhere else on Earth. 10. Home of humanity. The oldest human ancestor, Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis, was discovered in Ethiopia. This means Ethiopia is not just African, it's the birthplace of humanity itself. 9. Never colonized. Ethiopia is the only African country never formally colonized. It defeated the mighty Italian Empire at the Battle of AWA in 1896, standing as a symbol of African resistance and pride. 8. Ancient Christianity. Ethiopia adopted Christianity in the 4th century before most of Europe. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church has preserved ancient customs, texts, and even the language of Ge'ez for centuries. 7. Rock-hewn churches. The 11 churches of Lalibela are literally carved out of solid rock, some dug straight into the ground. These medieval wonders remain sacred sites and architectural mysteries to this day. 6. Unique alphabet. Ethiopia has its own script called Fidel or Ge'ez. It's one of the few African nations with a native writing system still in active use. A true linguistic treasure. Before I continue, like this video to support Africarized. 5. Calendar and time. Ethiopia follows a 13-month calendar and is 7 to 8 years behind the Gregorian calendar. It also tracks time differently, starting the clock at sunrise, not midnight. Mind-bending, right? 4. Birthplace of coffee, your morning pick-me-up. It comes from Ethiopia, the birthplace of coffee. The legend of Kaldi and his dancing goats is just the start of Ethiopia's deep coffee culture. 3. The Ark of the Covenant. Some Ethiopians believe the Ark of the Covenant is hidden in a chapel in Aksum. While it remains unverified, the legend adds to Ethiopia's aura of mystery and holiness. 2. Mountains and landscapes. From the Simeon Mountains to the Danakil Depression, Ethiopia boasts otherworldly terrains, including one of the hottest, lowest, and most acidic places on Earth. 1. Ancient Empire. Ethiopia was once the mighty Aksumite Empire, trading with Rome and Persia. It even minted its own coins and was one of the great powers of the ancient world. Which of these facts amazed you the most? Let us know in the comments.
Yes. Facts and history. We have something to think on. Yes. Because we need to think on these things. Too much weary and lele. As I say, too much weary and lele. Anyway, we'll take a break and come forward. Break.
Genius black kids who are changing the world. Most kids under 15 are busy playing video games or using social media. But what if we tell you there are black kids playing Mozart-level piano at age 11 without a single lesson, solving insane math equations before you can even talk, or inventing a cure for cancer at just 14 years old? But who are they? In this video, let's know about these ones and more. Number 7, Jude Kofi. At just 11 years old, Jude Kofi is already being called one of the greatest pianists in the world. But here's the crazy part. He never had a single lesson. Jude was born prematurely with a heart condition and later diagnosed with autism, but none of that stopped him. One day he stumbled upon an old keyboard in his father's basement, and instead of just pressing random keys like most kids, he started playing actual music like a trained professional. His talent was so mind-blowing that Bill Magnuson, a piano expert, gifted him a $115,000 grand piano because he recognized Jude as a Mozart-level talent. Now this self-taught genius is playing on TV shows, inspiring millions, and proving that pure talent always finds a way to shine. Number 6, Devan Freitas. Most 2-year-olds are learning to count to 10, but Devan was already solving advanced math problems before he could even talk properly. When he appeared on America's Got Talent, he left the judges completely speechless. From simple calculations to multiplying huge numbers in seconds, he answered everything with ease. Even crazier, his first word wasn't mama or dada, it was 7. His parents noticed early on that he would cry when they changed the channel away from educational math videos. This little genius was born to calculate. Number 5, Stacy Frew. At just 7 years old, Stacy Frew wrote her first book without her parents even knowing, and she didn't stop there. By the age of 9, she started her own foundation to help kids in her home country, South Africa. And by 10, she launched her own TV channel. Now she's on the list of the most influential South Africans, rubbing shoulders with politicians and business moguls, most of whom have probably been working longer than she's been alive. Number 4, Herman Bekele. At just 14 years old, Herman Bekele may have done something that scientists have been struggling with for decades. He developed a cure for skin cancer. As a young boy in Ethiopia, he saw people working long hours under the hot sun, often suffering from sun damage. After moving to the U.S., he realized how big the problem of skin cancer was and decided to do something about it. Herman created a low-cost soap that can prevent and treat skin cancer, winning the 3M Young Scientist Challenge and earning the title of Time's 2024 Kid of the Year. Number 3, Esther Okade. Most 10-year-olds are learning long division, but Esther Okade was already taking university courses. This Nigerian-British math prodigy took and passed the UK's GCSE exams at age 6. Exams that students 10 years older than her struggle with. By 10 years old, she had enrolled in the Open University, where she is currently working on her degree in mathematics. And get this, her next goal is to complete a PhD by age 14. Number 2, Cache Quest. At just 2 years old, Cache Quest became the youngest member of Mensa, the world's top IQ society. To put that in perspective, her IQ is 146, which is higher than the average adult genius. By 18 months, she was speaking in complete sentences, identifying all 50 U.S. states just by their shapes, and reciting the entire periodic table of elements. Number 1, Jeremiah Addo. Jeremiah Addo from Ghana has a mind like a computer. While most kids his age struggle to remember their own address, Jeremiah can name the capital city of almost every country on earth. By the age of 3, he had already memorized the entire Bible. Yes, from Genesis to Revelation. He can also multiply 2 or 3 digit numbers in seconds, leaving adults completely shocked at his abilities. Here's a quick question. Which of these black kids do you think is the most intelligent in the future's brilliant mind, changing the world forever?
Nothing that them used to tell me. I tell you, man, them played power, man. Tell you, if you see a black pussy pass you, you have to turn back and walk the other way. May I tell you, black ugly, the devil black as sin. Them girls same color too, you know. I tell you. But we rise up still. We rise up even though we know so whole heap of one still down there so. In the abyss. We still rise up. We not left nobody down there still. But me not gonna make nobody draw me down there, you understand? Okay, so take the last break and come forward. Last break.
General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM. The report says this contravenes the Public Procurement Act, which assigns direct responsibility for all procurement activities to the head of the procuring entity. In a statement today, Mr. Vaz pointed out that the extreme crisis demanded immediate action. He strongly rejected the suggestion of wrongdoing for his justifiable actions. The minister said the Auditor General's claim that his involvement breached Section 20 of the Public Procurement Act, which assigns sole responsibility for procurement activities to the head of the procuring entity, is both uninformed and grossly inaccurate. Mr. Vaz said all actions taken were in keeping with the guidance note on the acquisition of goods, services, and works in the situation of emergency or extreme urgency issued by the Office of Public Procurement Policy. He said in keeping with the guidance note, there is no doubt that the requirements for employing emergency procurement procedures were satisfied. These requirements are a genuine situation of emergency or urgency and the necessity of the procurement activity. The guidelines further state that subject to fiscal responsibility considerations, procurements in situations of emergency or extreme urgency may be approved by the head of a procuring entity, regardless of the value and method of procurement used. Mr. Vaz pointed out that procurement of the devices was a result of the emergency situation during the initial stages of the rescue and recovery process and the demand for telecommunication and connectivity in the worst affected parishes. He said, acting in his capacity as co-chair of the Relief and Recovery Oversight Committee, he took a decision that ensured that the government was able to secure the available devices and have them distributed to the relevant state agencies and recovery teams quickly. Mr. Vaz stressed that the procurement of the devices was possible as a result of the swift and decisive actions taken, and he makes no apology for this.
There was no breaches of the procurement guidelines, and the documentation that I have released shows that clearly. And secondly, if it is that my timely, effective action as Minister of Telecommunications and co-chair of the Cabinet Subcommittee for the Melissa recovery was beneficial by getting help to those affected persons, whether saving a life, getting food to them, whatever it is, I make no apology whatsoever. As a matter of fact, I go further. In circumstances such as these, if I had to do it again, I would do it again.
And in response to a statement by opposition spokesman on telecommunications, Philip Paulwell, Baz said it was disingenuous and an attempt to seek relevance. The minister stated that some opposition members got the same Starlink devices Mr. Paulwell referred to. He said the accountability that the spokesman and opposition demand may begin with the devices they received.
I simply say to Philip Paulwell, the leader of the opposition, all members of parliament in the affected areas, both opposition and government, plus mayors and councillors on both sides were recipients of Starlink to allow them to be able to better communicate with the responding agencies and their constituents. So I'm not quite sure what they are complaining about.
Telecoms Minister Darrell Vaz. Meantime, the Auditor General also reported that a review of the correspondence revealed that the procurement activity was initiated by a letter from the Minister in his capacity as co-chair of the Relief and Recovery Oversight Committee on November 13, 2025, to the attention of the for the 200 devices to a supplier. The report added that only the head of the entity is legally empowered to initiate procurement, and there is no provision under the Public Procurement Act that allows the minister to approve or initiate commitments to select suppliers or vendors, or to give any directive to ODPEM as to which supplier to pay. The Starlink devices were bought using funds from the $350 million withdrawal requested by the Financial Secretary, but they were not listed among the items that supported this request. The AG recommended that, going forward, procurement activities should be strictly initiated and approved by the head of the entity in accordance with statutory requirements to safeguard transparency and accountability. And opposition spokesman on telecommunications, Philip Paulwell, has called for full disclosure of all approvals, costs, and processes related to the acquisition of Starlink devices for the Hurricane Melissa response efforts. This in the wake of a report from the Auditor General, which flagged actions by Telecommunications Minister Darrell Vaz as a breach of procurement laws in the acquisition of the devices. In a statement today, Mr. Paulwell said the matter underscores growing questions about transparency, accountability, and the management of public resources.
According to the Auditor General's report, published on February 4, Minister Vaz proceeded with the acquisition of Starlink units outside of established procurement procedures, triggering scrutiny from oversight bodies tasked with protecting the integrity of public spending. This is particularly troubling given the safeguards procurement rules are designed to provide.
Citing claims by Mr. Vaz about the donation of 700 Starlink devices, Mr. Paulwell questioned the reason for purchasing 200 devices.
I wish to point out further that the issue is complicated by the minister's own public statements. On November 1, 2025, Minister Vaz announced that Jamaica had received 700 Starlink units as a donation in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, presenting the devices as emergency support for national connectivity. Jamaicans are entitled to clear and consistent answers. If 700 Starlink units were declared as a donation, the public must now be told why a subsequent purchase has been made and now been flagged by the Auditor General.
The spokesman stressed that access to telecommunications is critical for disaster response, education, commerce, and national resilience. He noted that these services are so essential, decisions surrounding them must be unimpeachable and fully compliant with the law. Mr. Paulwell added that Jamaicans at home and abroad deserve confidence that public resources are managed with integrity, particularly during periods of national recovery.
I wish to reiterate our call for the establishment of a broad-based oversight committee to strengthen transparency and accountability across government. Incidents like this highlight exactly why independent cross-sector oversight is necessary, especially at this time.
Opposition spokesman on telecommunications, Philip Hallwell. And the government's new platform for Hurricane Melissa monetary donations Support Jamaica has been flagged by the Auditor General for having some weaknesses in its information security framework, among other things. The issues were highlighted in a report tabled in Parliament yesterday. Natalie Campbell reports.
The website serves as a single point for the collection and management of financial and in-kind donations, volunteer registration and coordination, emergency reporting, and engagement with the local and international stakeholders. The AG said the audit of Hurricane Melissa relief was undertaken to determine whether activities were executed with due regard to transparency and accountability. The report focused on the Hurricane Melissa relief website supportjamaica.gov.gm with particular emphasis on the adequacy of access management and data privacy controls. The AG said a review identified significant weaknesses in the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM's Information Security Governance Framework, which impacted the access controls over the Support Jamaica website. It was found that ODPEM did not have formally approved information security or access control policies and procedures to govern the assignment, management, and monitoring of user rights across its information systems. In the absence of an established access policy, ODPEM operated without an enforceable standard for the provisioning, modification, and deprovisioning of user accounts on the Support Jamaica administrative dashboard. Consequently, ODPEM was exposed to an elevated risk of inappropriate or unauthorized access, inconsistent security practices, and weakened overall control of its information systems. The AG has recommended that in order to strengthen governance accountability and statutory compliance, ODPEM must complete registration as a data controller with the Office of the Information Commissioner and formally appoint a data protection officer as required by the Data Protection Act. Reporting for IRFM News, I am Natalie Campbell.
Tax-free relief of emoluments paid to employees who were impacted by Hurricane Melissa is in effect. Tax Administration Jamaica says the measure is intended to provide meaningful financial support to employees as they undertake personal recovery and welfare efforts following the effects of the Category 5 storm. Following recent policy change, employers may make cash payments to employees not exceeding $200,000, which will be treated as tax-free. These payments must be made during the period November 1, 2025 to March 31, 2026, and it must be specifically for personal recovery and welfare arising from loss or damage suffered as a result of Hurricane Melissa. Under this provision, qualifying payments will not be subject to pay-as-you-earn, education, national insurance scheme, or national housing trust deductions, nor will they attract employer contributions. Employers will also benefit from treating such payments as an allowable deduction for tax purposes. Payments may be made either as a one-off payment or as a series of payments over the 5-month period, provided the total does not exceed $200,000 per employee. It should be noted that this relief applies only to cash payments. Gifts in kind do not qualify and will remain subject to taxation. Any amount paid in excess of $200,000 will be treated as taxable emoluments and will attract the applicable statutory deductions and employer contributions. Employers are advised to retain proper records of all qualifying payments and must ensure that employees receiving the relief were on staff prior to the impact of Hurricane Melissa. The Jamaica Public Service, JPS, said majority of customers who lost electricity due to the cold front has had their power restored. JPS indicated that less than 1% of its customer base was affected. Corporate Communications Officer Dan Reid notes that the team continues to work in various parts of the island to restore power to those who remain without it due to the weather system.
The Jamaica Public Service, JPS, said majority of customers who lost electricity due to the cold front has had their power restored. JPS indicated that less than 1% of its customer base was affected. Corporate Communications Officer Dan Reid notes that the team continues to work in various parts of the island to restore power to those who remain without it due to the weather system. Electricity has been restored to most of our customers affected by power outages as a result of the recent cold front. Less than 1% of JPS customers were affected, mainly due to gale force winds in certain areas, causing debris and vegetation to come into contact with power lines.
Mr. Reid added that Hurricane Melissa restorations continue.
In the wider Hurricane Melissa restoration effort, JPS teams continue to work around the clock, rebuilding, repairing, and replacing infrastructure to get supply to customers as safely and as quickly as possible.
JPS Corporate Communications Officer Darren Reid, the country has been experiencing a cold front with significantly cooler temperatures, heavy winds, and rain since the weekend. Another cold front is expected to impact the island on Friday. Another call is being made for a revised national school grooming policy that removes the unilateral and final decision-making power from individual school administrators. Advocacy group Through It Children Foundation renewed the appeal following reports that administrators at a primary school in St. Catherine confiscated students' jackets during the cold front impacting the country. The foundation has condemned the action, which it says has understandably caused distress among parents. Executive founder Africa Stevens said the incident raises serious questions about the exercise of discretion in school grooming policy enforcement. She noted that at a time when the physical well-being, dignity, and rights of Jamaica's children must be prioritized, the foundation is alarmed by actions that appear to disregard a school's duty of care. She said cold temperatures, though seasonal, pose real health risks to children, particularly younger students, and directly affect their comfort, concentration, and ability to learn. She stressed that schools must be safe spaces, not environments where children are subjected to unnecessary physical discomfort as a form of rule enforcement.
Rules designed to promote order must never come at the expense of a child's health, comfort, or identity. Any form of discipline that humiliates, endangers, or excludes children is neither educational nor just. Igbo Children Foundation calls on the Ministry of Education, policymakers, and school boards to urgently review existing grooming and dress code frameworks and to engage parents, children, and civil society in creating policies and ultimately a school grooming law that are child-centered, rights-respecting, and fit for purpose.
Executive founder of Through It Children Foundation, Africa Stevens. 2 former Clansman gang members are expected to be the main witnesses for the prosecution in the case against Tesha Miller and his co-accused. Miller is alleged to be the leader of the gang. The trial officially commenced in the Home Circuit Court Division of the Supreme Court in Kingston today. Miller and his co-accused are facing several charges for offenses under the anti-gang legislation, murder, and robbery. Jonathan Williams reports.
The lead prosecutor in delivering the opening statement following the arraignment of the 25 accused men said its 32-count indictment brings the 25 accused men before the court and represent 16 separate incidents committed over the span of 5 years between August 2017 and November 2022. He said the Crown will rely on the similarity in actors or members, the similarities in modus, and the similarity in outcomes to illustrate that the 16 incidents were not isolated, but rather the effect of sustained and coordinated criminal activity. He noted that in every organization there is structure, purpose, and in criminal organization there is no difference. The prosecutor said it is the Crown's case that Tesha Miller is the primary leader of the criminal organization. During the arraignment, Miller pleaded not guilty to leadership of a criminal organization. The senior prosecutor said the evidence that it will lead with will not only prove that Miller is the primary leader of the criminal organization, but the other 24 members are part of the criminal organization and active participants. He also urged Presiding Judge Dale Palmer to approach this case with caution and without haste. The lead prosecutor also asked the judge not to reject the evidence that will be presented by its two main witnesses based on their backgrounds. Both witnesses are serving time on other offenses, including murder. Miller and all 24 co-accused pleaded not guilty to all the counts to which they have been charged. Reporting for RFM News, I am Georgetta Williams.
The Trelawney police arrested a man and woman in connection with the seizure of a prohibited weapon and a quantity of counterfeit notes in Mendestown yesterday. Reports from the Falmouth police said at about 8:30 a.m. a police team conducted a targeted raid in the area. During a search of a premises, a Smith & Wesson Springfield 9mm pistol and one round of ammunition were reportedly found concealed in a couch. Several counterfeit United States notes were also found. The investigation continues. Clifford Everald Warmington has been appointed to serve as a nominated commissioner of the Electoral Commission of Jamaica. This took effect on February 1. Mr. Warmington succeeds Senator Tom Tavares Finson, who retired from the commission on January 31. In a statement, the ECJ explained that Governor General Sir Patrick Allen has, on the advice of Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, appointed Mr. Warmington. He joins the other nominated commissioner representing the Prime Minister, Dr. Andre Franklin. Mr. Warmington is Member of Parliament for St. Catharines Southwest. The Electoral Commission is comprised of 9 members. There are 4 selected independent commissioners, 4 nominated commissioners, 2 representing the Prime Minister and 2 representing the opposition leader, and the Director of Elections. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has expressed that he believes that access to social media for children under the age of 16 years must be regulated or should even be totally avoided. He was speaking at the 16th National Health Research Conference opening ceremony this morning. The minister noted that it is time for health to be part of the conversation relating to the exposure of children to social media. He underscored that the possibility of consuming content may affect children negatively for the future.
And I believe that the time has come for health to be part of that lobby, to say, if you're 16 years or younger, we should regulate, moderate, or even totally avoid social media exposure to our young people. Now, not many people are going to like that. Parents are going to say, you have to give my child a smartphone to take to school so that they can communicate with me. And there may be other mechanisms that need to be put in place to allow for communication. As an adult, I am appalled at some of the things I see on social media, some of the opinions that have been expressed, some of the vitriol and the evil that is manifested, not just in faraway land, right here in Jamaica. People attack each other, attack character, make up stories, set new standards of behavior that, to my mind, to an open and fertile and learning brain in the form of a young person, is deforming them for life and creating a much worse society for the future generation.
The health minister noted that through overexposure, children may face mental health risk in the future.
I believe that in the context of health, it may not appear so, but we are creating a society of young people who will eventually become adults, who through overexposure and negative reinforced exposure, with social media being the core of that, are either going to be exceptionally challenged by mental health related issues or influencing their behavior and their choices that will lead to a much more challenging period beyond the age of consent, when they in fact can make decisions.
Minister of Health Dr. Christopher Tufton. And with that story, we have come to the end of the local news. You're listening to Live at 5:45. Still to come, our Caribbean and sports. But first, here's the weather.
There is a trough across Jamaica. It is projected to persist through late Thursday with